Damn, Scarf, another one? Look how cute he is. Look at it. Like, yeah, Japanese. So it's cute. Look, he's throwing a heart at you. He's throwing a heart at you. He wants you to have a heart. Kirby loves you. Loves. Ooh. Welcome, friends. LostScarf here, and it's time for the vlog. So we're going to talk about some things. One is Scarf has a problem. You got another Kirby. Other one is upgrades. So, okay, we got the camera's covered. We got the GeForce RTX 2060. This thing is apparently amazing. I'm not very smart. Jinx, of course, she's like, this is one we need to get, so this is what we got, and apparently it's really good. And yeah, so Metro Exodus is the reason why we needed to get this, because we're getting hiccups on low. Now we can run on Ultra, so that's awesome. The LP for Metro is going to go from like low graphics to higher Ultra. I was like, woo, woo, that's going to be quite the difference there, ain't that something? But that's what's going to happen there. That's funny about that LP. So it came with a free copy of Anthem, so we have Anthem now. And so we'll definitely have a video just looking at Anthem and seeing what we think of it, of course. I know a lot of people hate it, like a lot of the big people hate it, and some people like it, but like Jimquisition hated it, Angry Joe hated it, a lot of people hated it. Only person I know who liked it is Mez. That's it. But yeah, we'll play it and see what we think and everything. We'll do a video for sure. And who knows, maybe they'll be making patches to make it better. It's funny, like, I'm really enjoying Apex. I'm loving Apex a lot. We spent so many hours on it. And the good thing is, I'm semi-competitive, but I'm not too competitive, where I'm okay with losing. But if I lose, like, 10 in a row... if I lose, like, 3 or 5 in a row, like, really quick, I get kind of frustrated with my teammates. But usually you don't have a bad streak like that. So I've been having a lot of fun with it. Like, we've gotten second and third place a lot. Just need to get that first place more often. Only got in first place 4 times. Got carried 2 of them and did really well the other 2. But I'm enjoying it a lot. I really am. But it's funny that when Apex came out a week before Anthem, everyone was like, wow, they're really screwing over Apex because Anthem's just going to blow it out of the water. And then the opposite happened, where Apex is amazing and everyone's hating Anthem, so Apex is the reason why EA isn't doing as bad as it could have. So that's a funny thing right there. Gaming things, steady as she goes right now, Resident Evil 2, Metro Exodus, and Smash. Smash has been really fun. Resident Evil 2 is really fun. Metro is very interesting, but probably not as fun. And that's what worries me about that LP. I'm enjoying it because I like that world and everything, but it's not a very fun one, I think. So we'll see how that LP goes. I'm worried about that one a little bit. Other things like side projects and stuff like that. Still working on various projects and ideas. Once I get some indies that are worth showing off, they will be on the channel. Trick is finding indies that are worth it, that are just not bad. Let's see, what else? That's it for the channel stuff. Now I want to talk about some, not necessarily philosophical, but just things I'm thinking about. The first thing I want to talk about, though, there's 2 things I want to talk about. The first one I want to talk about is advertising. Because I keep talking about it, I keep talking about framing, and there's one more thing I want to talk about that's so weird to me. And you may notice it. Well, 2 things. One is advertisements on just billboards and all that stuff. And you'll notice something very interesting about that is just the framing of men and women. It's very odd how you see the framing of them. And usually what you'll see is the men are allowed to just, they have serious looks, they're staring at you, or they can be like happier and things like that. But for the women, they're only smiling. That's the only face they're allowed to have is smiling. And covering their mouth while smiling, or just happy. Like, they're only allowed to be happy. They're not allowed to have a serious look or anything like that, unless it's a specific, like a law firm. Like, that's it. Or it's a politician, like, they're tough on crime kind of thing. That is it. The majority is they're smiling, they're happy, and they're only allowed to be that, while men are allowed to be anything else. And I noticed that with some of the more popular channels I've watched. I've noticed that when there's discussions, the men are allowed to look at the other people and nod and just listen on. But when it's time for the women to listen, this is the creepy thing I've noticed, and I see this a lot with like something like Sinflix and things like that, is the woman's looking at him on occasion and looking at the camera on occasion. And the whole time she's smiling. She's got this big toothy smile the whole time. And she's also very perky, because that's a thing. And that's what they're just constantly doing. They're constantly just acknowledging the camera, acknowledging them, acknowledging the camera. They're smiling a big smile. And it's like that every time I see they do discussions. It's always that. With the women, they're doing that. And it's very fake to me. It's very unsettling. And it's not only them. I see the same thing with like Geek and Sundry. I've seen them do that where everyone's very... They're obviously not... They're obviously like faking the energy up. They're definitely faking the energy up. They're smiling because they need to be smiling. And it's so unsettling to me. I actually can't watch some of these things. I can only listen to them because it's so unsettling just seeing the difference in how they know what the audience wants to look at. They want to look at the ladies be pretty, and they don't care about what the guys look like. And it's very, it's just unsettling and frustrating. It really is. It bothers me. It doesn't completely lead into this other thing, but it does a little bit, and that is something I want to talk about. Is an analysis of a poem. So we're going to be a little philosophical, but not necessarily. And this is the poem, and everyone knows the first line of this poem. That is, "Laugh and the world laughs with you." This poem's actually called Solitude. I've been thinking about this poem for like 10 years. And at first, I only knew the first part, "Laugh and the world laughs with you." I thought it was just a saying. But turns out it's a big old poem, and it's called Solitude, and here's the poem itself, and it's very interesting. The poem is, "Laugh, and the world laughs with you. Weep, and you weep alone. For the sad old earth must borrow its mirth, but has troubles enough of its own. Sing, and the hills will answer. Sigh, it is lost on the air. The echoes bound to a joyful sound, but shrink from voicing care. Rejoice, and men will seek you. Grieve, and they turn and go. They want full measure of all your pleasure, but they do not need your woe. Be glad, and your friends are many. Be sad, and you lose them all. There are none to decline your nectared wine, but alone you must drink life's gall. Feast, and your halls are crowded. Fast, and the world goes by. Succeed and give, and it helps you live, but no man can help you die. There is room in the halls of pleasure for a large and lordly train, but one by one we must all file on through the narrow aisles of pain. It's a really good poem. Nice rhymes. And so there's different interpretations to it, of course, but my interpretation is thinking about it in mass. Big groups. When it comes to big groups of people, we see this in stories, we see this in real life, we see this in politics, we see this in just everything, because it's pretty damn true about humanity, and that is, when the gravy train's going, everybody's there enjoying it, everyone's partying, everyone's having fun. But if something goes wrong, everyone's gone. The only people left are the people there to stare at the train wreck, and if they have friends, friends. That is it. Reminds me of The Great Gatsby, honestly. So, this is something you just will notice if you look at. If you look for it, or if you just see it enough, you'll notice it. And that is, when things are happy and joyous and all that stuff, big crowds, big crowds. Who wants to be a big crowd for a sad thing? This is very true in that just anything. You see rallies, whatever. When it is a thing, it is very much big, boisterous, positive, just a lot of positivity going on, big and booming. That gets people's attention. But if it's anything quieter, anything sadder, anything more solemn, it does not. The only exception to this, potentially, I suppose, is funerals. A lot of people show up for that because that is the last goodbye. But that is the exception to this whole thing. The exception to this poem is friends. I really feel like that's the exception. Friendship and family are the exception to solitude, if we allow it to. Because the poem is saying, like, there are just negative things in life and we must do them alone, either because we have to, or because society just makes it that way. And so this is about people in mass. This is about, I feel like more like, this is about strangers. If everyone's a stranger, that's how it is. You have to deal with things yourself because no one wants to be there for the negative parts. They only want to be there for the positive parts. And I think that's why advertising is, well, very positive. Well, that's just a given there, why advertising is very positive. But let's think about influencers and content creators and channels, just all those things. Everyone's very big, up, positive, and happy because that is what gets attention. People want that. And it makes me think of, and I realize it's what it is vicariousness. Vicariousness is you see someone else do a thing, and through them, as the lens, you experience it and you get the joy of it in a way. A big example of that is, I can't remember the name of him, the kid who does the toy reviews. That kid gets millions of views every video, and the majority are other kids. And the reason for that is simple, and that is they want to see the toy, they want to see this kid play with the toy, so they're not necessarily playing with it themselves, but they're seeing someone else having fun with it, and so they're enjoying it. They're having fun with it too, by seeing someone else have it. It's the same reason why sometimes you have someone want to hear someone else's stories about whatever adventures they've been on, because it's a way for them to experience it. It's essentially, it's what stories are. It's what books are. Like, you read it, it gives you a sense of adventure, something that you can't have in your own life. Or romance novels, or even romance movies and adventure movies. It's a vicariousness, seeing something you can't have, and in a way experiencing it through watching it, through reading it, through consuming it. That's really what it is, I suppose. An example, a really good example, now I think about it, is Broadway. Song and dance, those kind of shows. The word I'm looking for, I'm just gonna call it something. I can't remember, I guess it is just called Broadway. When you see these song and dance shows like Newsies or Wicked, things like that, or Hamilton, what they found is the brain patterns of the dancers on stage and the brain patterns of the audience are the same. They're the same. So they're enjoying what's going on stage as if they were on stage. And that is potentially why people really enjoy these Broadway shows and these song and dances, because it just feels like they're there. It is a very strong vicariousness right there. And that's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool. The reason why I've thought about this poem, I forgot to mention, I've thought about this poem for like 10 years. And it's made me depressed at times and made me feel better at times because I'm thinking about different angles about it. Why I get depressed is because it's about human nature and that, yeah, when the chips are down, everyone's gone. And it's a very unfortunate thing because you wish people were there for each other. I talked about this last week with like strangers helping each other out. And that's the thing. That's the exception. That's the part to keep in mind is there are times when the chips are down and random people help you out, or your friends will help you out, or someone will help you out. Like, say, like the GoFundMe stuff. GoFundMe is looking for help with whatever situation, and sometimes strangers swoop in and help out. Sometimes your friends help out. It's definitely your friends helping spread the word. And then whatever trouble you have, hopefully it gets funded and you're okay for whatever reason, whatever's happening. But it is definitely another example is politics. You could have whatever counts, voice actors, celebrities for whatever reasons they're celebrities. They're all big and everything. And they talk about politics, and whatever their numbers were, it goes down because not everyone wants to talk about politics. People aren't there for the politics. They're there for all these happy things. They don't want to be reminded of the tougher things, or the more negative things. And it very much is a dance monkey dance kind of thing to me. Where, like, I'm following you for this, not for this. And it's like, well, you're getting the person. It's not a company. You're getting the person. And if that person wants to talk about politics, they're going to talk about politics. And at that point, it's up to you to unfollow. At that point. It's like they're not a... People are people. They're not a company. Complaining at a person because they want to talk about this or that is kind of a dick thing. It really is. I get not wanting to listen about politics or about whatever thing they don't want to hear about. But if that's what the person wants to talk about, then you got to make your choice, unfollow or what. But being a dick to them because they want to talk about politics is just a dick thing. Thinking about it on the personal level is, yeah, when we are just having fun, doing a lot of just having fun. Fun. The viewership goes up. A bunch of people show up. That's the thing. But if we start getting mad or we get down, or any negative emotion, you obviously, it's going to disappear. You obviously lose out when you're negative. And that is why you get fake positivity. And that right there just feels very sad to me as well. Like, I can keep going in a cycle of, this is awesome, and this is sad. This is awesome, and this is sad. And it is a sad that there's this fakeness. As the thing is, you can argue acting is being fake, of course, because you're faking being happy, angry, sad, all these different things. As you can say, they're being actors. But the thing about it is, you know damn well when you're watching a personality do whatever thing, you feel a closeness to them because you feel like this is really who they are. You don't think they're acting, you don't think they're faking. But so many people are faking. So many people are acting. And I think that's probably why we'll never be successful is, well, not in a huge way, is I can't just fake being happy. I'll bring in the energy, and then I'll have a higher tolerance for bad things, but at a point, if things just go negative, I'm just out. This is the thing I've learned is once I get to a ragey point, I need to just stop the stream or I need to just stop playing whatever I'm playing. That's what I've learned. And it was at its worst with Smite, where I was ragey every day, and that's when we stopped playing Smite altogether. Because I just could not be happy with that game anymore. And we know it was a bunch of reasons why. Like, Magic the Gathering right now, we're getting less videos on that. One reason is because I can't think of any more things I can do with it at the moment, because I've done the drafting, I've made decks, but also because I'm just getting some bad streaks in that game. I'm like, well, I don't want to just play a game to be miserable. So there's not a lot of content in Magic right now with that. Like with Apex, I feel more challenged, and so I don't really feel too frustrated when I lose. I only get mad when I lose when my teammates are blaming me when they rushed into a 3 squad. Like, okay, buddy. That's the only time I get mad is when my teammates are dipshits. Besides that, I'm usually just having fun with it. Sometimes just get caught in a bad situation. That's about it. It's really frustrating when you have a bunch of good gear and you get caught out of nowhere and you're just dead and like, well, damn it. But that's more of a just circumstance kind of situation, not really what can you really get mad at? Just bad timing there. I think the randomness does give you some room to just go like, well, that was just a bad situation. And yet, when Magic does it, I get more annoyed about it, and that's still randomness. You know what? I don't know. I can't parse why. Really, I just wanted to bring up this poem because I just think about that. I think about it also on a personal way. And it's something I worry about with teenagers a lot. Not just teenagers, but even young adults. And that is, they self-deprecate a lot. And I mean a lot. And you think it's funny, but there's a point when it ain't funny anymore, and then nobody wants to talk to you. I see this in Discord a lot. I see this on Twitter a lot. I just see someone slowly but surely isolate themselves as they're making these jokes about themselves, self-deprecating. Because at a point, it's not, what was the joke? Where is it funny? You're just crapping on yourself. And then there's less interaction. Way less interaction. And then the person is now isolated. And I see that a lot, and I worry about that. Because even with friends, there's the thing, like, even with friends, they'll be there. They have a higher tolerance. They'll be there when you're really sad. But if you're only sad, if you're only using them as a dumping ground for your sadness, those friends will disappear as well because that's not all they're there for. They don't want to be there just for pain. They got to be there to share in some joy as well. There's a tolerance. And that's a thing I think about as well. Like, because you know me, like I worry about depression of people and things like that, and there's a tolerance for that. No matter how much a saint someone wants to be, like I've tried to help people, and sometimes people are they're so far gone, and I don't know what I can do. And sometimes it's just time, and hopefully something better happens for that person, and they get in a better spot. It doesn't always happen. We've prevented 7 suicides, but I have no idea about some other people because I don't talk to them anymore. I don't know where they are. I don't know if they're still around or not. That's something that eats at me a little bit. But I can't control what other people do at the end of the day. I can only try to help people. Hopefully they're all okay. But I just think about that. I think about just how humanity is with each other and how we are with ourselves and other people and all these things. These vlogs are weird. All right, so that's enough. That's enough talking about everything. The newest Kirby podcast comes out today, I think. Yeah, episode 14 comes out today, yeah. And, oh my god, 15's coming. Episode 15 of the Kirby podcast. If you watch the Kirby podcast, or listen to it, just end this video now. For those who don't, it is, oh my god, it's so much. That episode is just so, oh, it's so emotional, that episode. This little boy, I'm up to episode 40 in the anime. Bad things happen to this little boy. And somehow he still cares about people and still helps people. And this is a vicariousness as well, I suppose. It's just someone who can deal with so much crap and still go forward and be happy. That is probably why Kirby's been my favorite since I was a kid. Because he's always been an enduring spirit. He's always Look at him. He's just always happy, always fighting. No matter how bad things get, no matter how tough it is, that's what Kirby do. And people have their own heroes and other things. People really love Batman, they really love Superman. Superman's the same thing. Superman fights these big problems and he keeps struggling through it. That's who Superman is. Same thing for, like, if you really like... Well, the Hulk's different. The Hulk is, he gets beat up and then he's even more powerful. He gets beat up and he's even more powerful. Hulk's ridiculous. Wolverine's ridiculous as well. I think Superman's a good example of just, they always give him the strongest thing, so it's always him struggling through, so that's pretty good. They give that to Batman as well at times, which makes him good. But yeah, Kirby, that's the reason. Or maybe even Captain America with the things he deals with, trying to be the perfect dude and all that. But we all have our heroes, we all have our people to look up to and help us struggle through. Why am I talking about that? So that's the vlog right there. I had fun talking, fun watching and listening, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Links come by, and see you next time.